and then we should be live. I am just going to go and check because there's nothing worse than going live in the wrong place, which I have done before. So bear with me, Jake. I'm just going to quickly check in the page to see if we're live. Yep, we're good. Right, okay, brilliant. So hi everybody, back again this week. Massive apologies for last week. I had huge internet issues. I was actually shooting a wedding last Friday, and the wedding venue, I managed to get sort of like 20 minutes where I could get out and do the interview, no problem, but it didn't matter where I went in the venue. I just couldn't get good enough signal, and the venue's Wi-Fi just kept dropping out. So yeah, it was just not going to happen, unfortunately, but we are going to reschedule our session with Jenny, so you will get to meet Jenny and hear all about her story, and we'll hopefully do that in a few weeks' time. But today we have got Jake with us. So Jake, you are Jake Leonard, as we can see, because your name is on the screen. So hi, if you want to say hi to everybody. And if you
hello everyone.
Hi, if you just want to just introduce yourself, obviously your name and your business and what you're up to.
Yeah, so my name's Jake Leonard. I recently turned 25 years old. It's my birthday on Tuesday.
Oh.
And I have my own business called Jake Leonard Media Solutions. And the element of that is photography.
Brilliant. So you do quite a lot of things, don't you, within your business? You do,
Yeah.
I believe, music video, and you do sort of like promotional stuff as well. Is that right?
Yeah, and a bit of web design as well, and graphic design also.
Yeah, they kind of all go hand in hand, don't they? My second business is web design, and I end up doing a bit of everything. It all goes really hand in hand. So, Jake, tell us a bit about your personal life. Where in the world are you? You know, like, what's your living situation? Tell us a little bit about you personally.
All right, so I live in Milton Keynes in Buckinghamshire, the city of roundabouts, because there's lots of roundabouts. I live with family. I have five younger siblings, sorry.
Wow, 5.
Two which are permanently adopted. I also live with my mum and dad and my Labrador, Yogi, as well. So yeah, there's 9 of us all together in this house.
That sounds.
And yeah, so it's run a bit like a military operation in this house.
I guess it has to be, right? And like, I can't hear any background noise right now. I expect to hear loads of people running around and screaming after you said that, but there's nothing. It's really quiet. So yeah, your mum and dad must be smashing it.
Yeah, luckily they're all at work and school, and I've got pretty good soundproofing in here as well, so
Brilliant.
Not too bad.
Oh, bless. So,
and then obviously where I am now is my room, but you'll notice that this is on the ground floor. This used to be a double garage. Now I know we're going to talk about this a little bit later, but I have a physical disability called cerebral palsy, which means any houses that I've lived in, I've had to be adapted for my needs, and because I also rely on carers to help me with day-to-day support as well. So yeah.
So how do you find that affects you with your business, Jake? So you're obviously your business is quite a mobile one. Like I know for myself what I do. I'm running around quite a lot. How does that affect you, and how do you sort of overcome?
So as an individual, I can't drive because of my condition. So I have to rely on public transport and taxis, example.
Yeah.
That's something I have to factor into my overall business.
Yeah.
But in terms of like a practical actual shoot point of view, I only really have the use of one hand, my left hand.
Yeah.
So over the years, I've kind of adapted unorthodox techniques in order to take photos.
Brilliant.
Now, for someone that never seen it before, they'll probably be like, "How the hell can you take a photo?"
Yeah.
being that he's got a physical disability and only got the use of one hand. Um, and that does have its limitations. So, for example, obviously, I very rarely shoot from a low angle
Yeah.
because I can't get on the floor. But um, I'm very lucky that my chair can rise up and tilt back, so I kind of compensate for that by rising my chair up, shooting from a high angle,
Yeah.
or
Okay.
completely lying flat in my chair and
That's
kind of getting the person to almost come towards the camera, thinking that kind of, close up perspective.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, it takes me a bit longer to set up your average shots, for example, but I, I hope if people take a look at my page and about the work I do, they can see that the quality of photo is still the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like we have a application process, as you know, to become a volunteer, and we actually take a look at your work, and we will look at everybody who comes to us, and just make sure that they have got the skills to be able to deal with most situations. And your portfolio is up there with the rest of them. Like we
Mhm.
wouldn't have known, and if you hadn't have told us you had cerebral palsy, we wouldn't have known, basically, just by looking
Yeah.
at, there's not anything there that says it. So I think it's amazing that you can overcome this. I totally get what I had a car accident a few years ago, and I actually broke my hand, and I had to go and shoot all my weddings with one hand. So I totally understand, how difficult that actually is, and how well you've managed to adapt and sort of like find your own way of working. I think it's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, when I first started my photography journey, I did all my stuff based on tripod.
Yeah,
So basically, I would have the tripod on my legs
yeah,
and also be like a moving tripod, basically,
brilliant.
like a dolly.
Like a
Um,
gimbal.
but, but yeah, but basically over lockdown, obviously the country hasn't been able to do a lot, so I've just been out with my camera, and over the past 12 to 18 months, I've actually managed to train the limited movement in my hands. I managed to train be able to support my camera to be able to do handheld photography.
Wow, that's amazing.
Um, I mean, it doesn't look pretty, but once again, it still gets the end result that we all want. So
Yeah,
it's all
that's
good.
right. And if it works for you and it's working, then whatever, isn't it? Whatever works.
You
You
know, and at the end of the day, I believe, yes, I have difficulties, and they do hinder me in some ways, but it's important that when you're working with clients, whether it be through the Butterfly Wishes Network or in my business, that I'm upfront and honest with what my capabilities are.
yeah,
And as long as there's that understanding there that things might take a bit longer, or I might not be able to get a certain type of angle, then as long as both parties are okay with that, then that's okay.
yeah, exactly. I totally agree. Yeah, I think it is all about managing expectations, isn't it? And people having a bit more understanding and a bit more patience,
Yeah,
and realizing that you have your ways of working around these things, and they might take a little bit
yeah,
longer than the average photographer.
yeah.
So yeah, brilliant. Okay, all right. So tell us then, why did you start taking photos? What made you get into photography? What drives you to want to do it?
So obviously, we touched on a little bit earlier my disability and health palsy, and but, don't get me wrong, I love sport and I love football and things like that, and but obviously because of my condition, I can't do these things. And photography is something where I feel like I'm on a level playing field. Like you said earlier, if I look at my page, you would know that I had a disability.
Yeah,
So there's no there's no preconceived idea of what I can and can't do.
Yeah, okay,
You
amazing.
know, you know, and I also work part time in a special needs school,
Lovely.
and I am kind of part of my role there is to go around the school and photograph some of the children, you know, doing activities. So that's kind of where my want for kind of the butterfly network came in
Okay.
as well, because I, also I I've accepted the fact that, don't get me wrong, it took me a few years, but I've accepted the fact that I hate this word, but not normal, and that I need
I don't
help.
think anyone's
And
normal, Jake. Define normal. Like, I'm certainly not normal.
um, you know, and I have a skill, and some of the families that I mean, I personally haven't done a session yet myself, but I know from looking on the website and the Facebook page, some of the families that we work with as a charity and organisation uh, have very ill individuals that in some cases are terminally ill. And
Yeah.
if I can, and if I can help spread a bit of joy and happiness through my skills, you know, uh, that that fulfills me with a sense of fulfillment that I can't put into words. You know, to
Yeah.
know that to know that and a family has my pictures that they can look back on
I
when
think essentially is that it's priceless, isn't it? You can't put, there can't be any monetary value that you put on these photos, and there can't be, you know, for us as volunteers, it is yeah, there aren't any words to put to it. It's just a feeling that you've
yeah
got, knowing that those people, those families have that memory to cherish
yeah
forever. Um,
yeah
yeah, and it is a very feel good sort of feeling, you know. It's, yeah, it's an amazing thing, and all of our volunteers, you know, everyone that helps and does everything that they do, each and every one of them is amazing. You know, so yeah. So okay, so we know a little bit about your business. So what type of photography do you do? What's your sort of genre with your
Oh,
business? Where are you leading with that?
so it kind of changed during the pandemic.
Okay.
So originally it was kind of where I could get the work uh,
They used to
and
everything.
sort of go where I needed. But
Yeah.
now that the world's opening back up again, I'm kind of doing a lot of live events,
Lovely.
uh, and a few. I'm also booked to do a few. In a few weeks' time, I'm actually doing a cake splash.
Oh,
So,
nice.
so,
Very
so a
messy.
lot of a birthday kind of stuff, and like family occasions as well. So,
Nice.
yeah.
So
So
they're good fun, aren't they?
yeah,
Yeah, I recently stopped doing
but
cake smashes because of the mess, but they are good fun. They are really good fun to
uh,
do. Yeah.
um, but yeah, I'm the type of person that will kind of give anything a go. You know, I'm not one to turn down an opportunity. And the same goes for this. Like the Butterfly Mission Network was a opportunity that I heard of through a friend,
Yeah.
and I looked on the website and I was like, you know, that's a bit of me. I want to be part of that and make a difference, and hopefully that's something I can do in the coming weeks and months.
Yes, definitely. Well, like we are, as you know, we are gradually getting back into sessions. The people are sort of coming out of the woodwork, and more people are coming to us. Obviously, I think there is an element of, you know, all of our families are quite high risk with regards to the coronavirus. So
Yeah.
there is a, you know, like people wanting to protect people. And that's obviously really understandable, you know, in this
Mm.
situation. Um, but like we're hoping, yeah, sort of like come sort of like the end of the year, then we should be sort of back on on target, provided that Boris doesn't put any more restrictions on us. But we shall see about that. So, like, I think the next question is to tell us why you volunteered for the charity. I think you've really covered it, but is there anything else that you wanted to add to that question?
I just want to really reiterate what I said earlier. It's about, for me, it's about putting something back into a society that over the years I have taken a lot out myself. You know, because without my family pushing me to be the best version of myself, you know, I wouldn't be here talking to you now.
Yeah.
And and so over the years I've developed skills not only in photography but in me as a person that I want to share with the families we work with.
Yeah. So,
And to know that in 50, 60 years time when I'm old and grey in a care home somewhere, to know that someone's still looking back on my photos
yeah.
and cherishing them for life. You know, for me that even now would bring a tear to my eye. That's amazing and
It is
something
nice,
that
isn't it? So my
um
parents are very like into photography, and it's one of the reasons I'm into photography. They actually have photo albums everywhere. Like there's a whole cupboard in their spare room which is full of photo albums.
mm,
And we went down recently and we're looking through their wedding album, and you looking back, and now as a wedding photographer myself, you know, like when I looked at these when I was a kid, I wasn't any kind of photographer, and now I
yeah,
am, and I look back and I'm like, oh wow, look, I'm looking back at these photos which are like 50, 60 years old, and in 50, 60 years time people are going to be doing the same with my photos and having those
yeah,
same, you know, emotions coming out. And it was really nice, it was really beautiful to look back and sort of
mm,
see all those pictures and hear their stories about how what a nightmare their wedding photographer was. And I was like, well, I'm a good wedding photographer, I wouldn't do that to you. So they had a
yeah.
real horror story. But all right, so look, last question and then we're going to finish up. So you are one of our newer volunteers and you are not
Yeah.
yet done a session for us, but I'm sure that you will very, very soon because there's more popping up every day now. But have you got one piece of advice for any volunteers or photographers that are thinking about joining us, that are just sitting on the fence and they're not quite sure if they should apply now? Any tips for them?
Anything. Well, my number one tip would be apply because it's a fantastic charity, and the work you do with the organisation is amazing.
Thank
In terms of photography tips, don't be ashamed of your work, own your work, and there's no style that is wrong.
you.
There's
Yeah,
no photo that is bad. Obviously, there's a photo that isn't out of focus.
yeah,
Or
yeah,
the composition is wrong, for example. But as long as you can explain why you've made those creative decisions in the photo, then that's the most important thing. And also, know the limitations of your equipment and what your limitations as a person are. And that is something that obviously applies to me that I touched on a bit earlier. You won't see me in a session getting on the floor, shooting from a high angle, because that's something I'm not possible.
yeah. Yes, I
But
think when we were sort of, if we get to a point where we're, you know, going to allocate a session for you, we would obviously make sure that, you know, we're not going to give you like a baby that's going to be mainly like on the floor. You know, we would make sure that the session would be suited for you, and that
yeah,
we wouldn't purposely put you in a situation that we knew that you would struggle with. So I think that's one thing that we really try and do as a team behind the scenes here.
I mean, at the same time, I have also, I did in my early days of photography, I did a newborn shoot, and you might think to yourself, how did you do that? Because they were on the floor. Well, before I did the shoot, I had that dialogue with the client, and I was like, look, this is the kind of shots I want to get. Can we do it on a sofa?
Yeah,
Or
okay.
like on one of the shots I did was actually on the table, but we put a nice fluffy blanket down, so there was still that element of comfort.
Yeah,
So there is the point I'm trying to make here is that there is ways to get around things,
absolutely.
and and but the most important thing is not to be afraid to ask and be able to open to dialogue.
Yeah,
If you go into a shoot with a one track mind or a tunnel vision, then that's not good because sometimes I find that the best photos to come from a photo shoot are often the ones that you don't plan.
yes.
You know, they're the ones that you often take the screen shots, you know, of people just interacting with one another. You know, it might be a laughing expression or something like that.
Yeah,
So that would be another tip. Don't, yes, have a plan in your head, but don't worry if that plan doesn't go to plan.
yes. It's really good
If you
advice,
know,
actually.
if you know what I
Really good
mean.
advice. I think in like everything in life, stuff rarely goes to plan how you would like it to. So I think that's really
Yeah.
good advice, is to, don't stress over the little things. And if something isn't quite right, then don't stress over that and just do what you can do,
Uh,
and make the best of it that you can.
I mean, from a business point of view, this is how far my planning goes. I obviously look at what shoot I'm doing. I then use Pinterest as a board, and I put a selection of images together
Yeah,
that I would like to get similar shots of. So I don't necessarily write anything down, but I have a visual representation of what I want
yeah. That's a really good
as like
idea.
as a guide. But then again, if I don't get that, then that's okay. Because, but at least I have a starting point where to start from. Because there's nothing worse than going into a photo shoot with no ideas.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's really good advice. Very good.
Um, yeah, so that would be my advice.
Thank you, Jake. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming on and doing this interview with us today. We really appreciate it. What have you got planned for the rest of the day? Have you got much on?
Well, it's lovely and sunny where I am, so I think I'm
Right.
gonna go out and enjoy the sun, maybe have a nice iced coffee and enjoy the outside.
I think
Might
that sounds like
even
a
take
great
my,
idea.
might even take my camera. You know?
Brilliant. Yeah, do it. We
Yeah.
look forward to seeing the pictures.
Yeah.
So if you've got any questions for Jake, or if there's anything you'd like to know specifically, you're welcome to drop them in the comments below, and Jake will come in and answer them, or I can come in and answer them if I can. And thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, Jake, for taking part. And I'll see everybody next week with the next interview. So take care,
Wonderful.
everyone.
But thank you for your time. Bye.
Thanks, Jake.